Hey everyone, glad you can join us today. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to do a video. We've been pretty busy working on the kiln and doing other projects that it just really hasn't been conducive to do videos. But today I just want to give a quick update. I'm probably not going to do any milling today. I've actually got this big ash log that's been on the mill, and this ash log's been on that mill for probably about a month. But it's just been a busy time. We've been trying to get the kiln going. Hopefully in a few more weeks we'll have it up and running. I'll go give a quick update on that. And I'm going to take you over here. We have a friend, Martin, who has a tree service. And about a week and a half ago, he had a big pecan tree he was taking down in the middle of Leslie, Arkansas, and I was able to had to take 2 trips to go down and get this with our log arch and our truck. But we got some nice pecan logs that we're gonna be able to put on the mill and mill up, and they're anywhere from like 22-inch, 23-inch diameter with like this log here. We got the stump should be pretty interesting. You know, I think it's actually, I may have to trim off some of the sides. I got my tape measure here. Let's see if I can even measure it real quick. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. I'll give it a shot. Great camera work. So it's like over 45 inches. Almost tripped there. So I'm definitely gonna have to trim off that because our mill could do about 35-inch if everything's set up right. It's designed to do a 38-inch log, but as far as the cant or live edge slab, maximum 35. Also from Martin, he had an oak tree he cut down. So we got a few oak logs. Here's that, if you can see that sort of piece of the stump over there. Make a few cookies out of. And he also had a pine tree that he cut down that we were able to go get. So that's been very helpful. It's always nice to have a tree service guy as a friend that can help you out. You know, I mentioned Keith, who I work with, who has a backhoe, who helped push over that walnut tree that was by the power lines up, you know, maybe about a mile up the road. You got to go, well, actually, we'll say 3.5 miles, because there's 3 miles up out of the valley to pavement, and then right up in our area, Fox. There's someone who's one that has a patch of pine trees. They knocked down about 20 or 25 pine trees. And so we'll be getting the logs from that. And so that's gonna be able to supply the log yard. And I mentioned in the last video, I think it was the last video, about, you know, we got a project in the workings of doing some forest management here at Meadowcreek. And, you know, part of the project has 400 acres, and then overall it has about 1,500 acres. And you know, it may work out. It's looking positive of us being able to do forest management for the 400 and even the 1,500 acres. And we have a guy named Joe Bernstein, who he's in his 70s, but he's been a logger, but he's been a logger with mules. He had 2 mules called Tom and Jerry, but they've ended up passing away, and he don't have them anymore. But it's in the talks of even maybe getting some mules and working with Jerry, and he bring his equipment down. But you know, I don't like to count my chickens before they're hatched. But anyways, it's looking positive, and you know, we may do some forest management, and you know, it's going to be some money to get the mules. So that's going to be an interesting hurdle to come over if that ever comes to fruition, which it may. And we're looking to be able to do that because it'll be a great supply for our sawmill, and it'll help Meadowcreek, and it'll help even Joe, you know, and hopefully it'll be a win-win-win situation. And you know, these forests do need managed out here. They've been just left to themselves, and a lot of briars and thickets and trees growing up next to one another. So it'll hopefully just be a win situation for everyone. But you know, we'll just see how this develops and unfolds. But there's been plenty of trees that's been dying from the drought. That there's just quite a few trees. There's a 42-inch oak tree that's dead, and that's going to be an interesting one to cut down. Another 22-inch hickory tree, and then there's a tree that I can't tell if it's an elm or an oak because the leaves are way up on top, and I'll have to cut it down to get a better look at the leaves. And that's about 22, 23 inch diameter. And so there's a lot of big trees that's been dying around here. Still got a nice 22 inch cherry tree to cut down. So there's no shortage of work, and right now not a shortage of trees to have to deal with. But and so we got them. I got some logs over here from a neighbor I need to mill up for him and his wife. And so there's a lot going on, and it's kind of been a little overwhelming trying to do a part-time job, trying to get this kiln going. Like I said, that ash log's been on that mill for, you know, probably about a month, and I don't know when I'm going to get to that. But I'm going to give a quick update on the kiln and just make this a short updated video, and hopefully we can get this kiln up and running within the next couple weeks, and then I can get back to doing some milling and some logging and some cutting some trees down, and you know, getting to the fun part of the job. This kiln's it's been a piece of work, but you can see the fan housing we got put up. We still got to put the fans in. We got everything doors on. We started painting the metal. We got to paint the inside and the outside. We got to put the fans in and the electric in and the dehumidifier. And I'm sure there's a few more odds and ends, but hopefully after that, this kiln will be about ready to put our first load of lumber. And that'll be exciting, and it'll be a relief, because you know this thing's been a burden. It's been taking us away from other things that we need to do, trying to just get this thing done. And it's just been a project, but hopefully it'll be almost done. And here we'll give you a quick update on our flattening table. We're in the wood shop, and you know this is an old building, and the roof leaks pretty bad in some areas. But you know you just do what you got to work with. But here's the building. It's kind of dark in here. You know, we got some little bit of lighting. It's not pristine conditions, but here's our flattening table. Try to go around it where there's better lighting. You know, RC built the metal part. We put some 3/4 inch plywood and the Wood Pecker Rd sled. And RC's brought some box elder over for us to flatten, and it's working pretty good. We just got one area in that far corner where it leaks from the roof, but we've covered it with this tarp. But overall, it works pretty nice. So once we get that kiln up and running and some of our lumber dried, we'll have this flattening table to flatten it at. Right here is the corner where you got a little bit of leakage. So hopefully we can keep it contained. Water and wood does not match very well. But here's our woodworking shop. Here's where I got my blade sharpener. The Norwood blade sharpener. I've sharpened a few blades. I haven't sharpened this one yet. But it's set up to get that one sharpened. And so that's just what's been going on here at Ozark Sawmill and Services. And I got one more thing to update with, and it's interesting how about a couple months ago I did a video. Actually, I did 2 videos, and in those videos I was talking about overcoming tick-borne diseases. Well, wouldn't you know it, I got my first tick-borne disease, and it's been knocking me for a loop. I've gotten Ehrlichia, and at the time I probably had it for a month and didn't know what I just was getting low on energy, and my blood pressure was getting up into the 150s over high 90s, and it's never been that high. And so I was concerned about that, and then having a low energy. And that's been happening for quite a few weeks. So I finally went to the doctors, and he started feeling around my upper body and was noticing that, you know, everything was just out of whack. My lymph nodes, my spleen, my liver. And he's like, you probably are fighting something. So he did a blood test and found out that I got Ehrlichia. And that's been wreaking havoc and raising my blood pressure and everything and giving me, you know, low energy at times. So I've been dealing with that. I've been doing an antibiotic, and he put me on some blood pressure medicine. I've never been on any blood pressure medicine before, and well, I don't even think it's working very well. But and I end up having to go to the hospital the last couple days doing a stress test on my heart because I felt like there was just a heaviness right in the center of my chest, and with my family history didn't want to take any chances, so I've been in the hospital, and the stress test I passed with flying colors, and so hopefully it's just all dealing with this Ehrlichia. So I got to figure out how to overcome this. I've been taking some of our what we call settle down tea with hibiscus and oat straw and stevia, and I'm not sure a few other things, but it's just been something that I didn't catch at first. Usually when you get bit by a tick and you get something, the sooner you treat it, the better. I would have liked to try to use some poke root with it, tincture, but I didn't know I had it for a month, and then the poke root tincture I had, that stuff doesn't last forever with the shelf life, and it started tasting a little vinegary, so I didn't want to continue with that. So I haven't really been able to try any more herbal supplements, but one of the things I'm going to do now, especially because of my blood pressure and everything, is we have a super tonic, which it's an excellent tonic if you could deal with it. It's got garlic, onions, cayenne pepper, ginger, I know parsley's in it. There's one, and horseradish. So it's got horseradish, ginger, garlic, onions, and cayenne peppers with some parsley, and it's an apple cider vinegar. And I even think we put turmeric in it. I eat turmeric at every meal. We grow turmeric, and it's just a great herb and with inflammation benefits. But I'm going to start we've had this soup, we call it a super tonic, and We've made it for the last couple of years, but I haven't had it for a while. But I'm going to start taking that to help the blood flow, and all those ingredients are great for the heart. One thing I like to always tell people, if you're in a bad situation that someone's having a heart attack, and you just, after you dial 911, actually I say before you dial 911, you put some sort of hot pepper juice down there if they could swallow it. Don't shove the whole thing down their throat, but give them a couple drops of some hot cayenne pepper, some red hot, whatever, and that just acts like a natural defibrillator. And that's actually better than going and calling 911 and waiting. Even you'll have the benefit. Once you do that, then you call 911 because it can help stop the heart attack, but you got to get the paramedics there. But if you're in a situation where someone's having a heart attack and you don't know what to do after you deal with 911, or if you can think beforehand or after or whichever, get some hot pepper down there if they can swallow it, and that'll act like a natural defibrillator. They may not like hot stuff, but consider the alternative. I think they'll be okay with it, but that's always something to keep in mind. So even it's a heart tonic, because it just, for some reason, the cayenne pepper, the hot pepper feeds the heart. And so that's just a tidbit if you're in a bad situation, because who wants to get in that situation? But that can help you. Hawthorn berry is another good thing if you have who has hawthorn berry on hand, but if you do, that's also great for the heart. But some hot sauce would definitely be something you want to keep in mind in case you're ever in that situation. So I'm going to start taking this, we call a super tonic, to help things be strengthened, and hopefully I could get over this Ehrlichia, because the best antibiotic for it is doxycycline, but you can't take doxycycline and get out in the sun. And obviously we're out in the sun all day, so I've had to take another type of antibiotic, and I'm not so sure it's working as good as I would hope. But anyways, so I started talking about overcoming tick disease, and now I'm trying to overcome a tick disease. But that's the first one I've had. My wife's had a few, and Wayne's had the alpha-gal, but now I'm dealing with Ehrlichia. But we'll see, between the medicines from the doctor and some herbal remedies, we can get over this thing and get back at full force. But this is a quick update, I think. I'm not sure how much time, but hopefully you sticking with us where we get this kiln done, and then, you know, we can hit into another gear and going forward. And we got a lot of trees that we got to cut down, and there's, you know, we're not going to have a shortage of logs in the future, near future anyways, and we'll keep you updated on this forest management project. And thank you for joining us, and, you know, may you all have a blessed day.